The story coming out of Kaduna State is one that has shaken Nigeria to its core. On Sunday morning, January 18, 2026, something terrible happened in a small village called Kurmi Wali in the Kajuru area of Kaduna State. While families gathered for their regular church services, armed men stormed into 3 different churches at the same time. These were the Evangelical Church Winning All, the Haskell Cherubim and Seraphim Movement Church, and the Albaka Cherubim and Seraphim Church. It was around 9 in the morning when people were deep in worship, singing, praying, and listening to the Word of God. Suddenly, gunmen arrived on motorcycles and on foot, carrying sophisticated weapons. They blocked the church entrances and started forcing worshippers out at gunpoint. Over 170 people were taken that morning. Some reports say 177 people were initially kidnapped, with 11 managing to escape early on, leaving about 163 to 168 people still missing. These were mothers, fathers, children, church leaders, grandparents, people who went to church that Sunday morning expecting to worship and return home safely. One witness who escaped described how the attackers wore a mix of clothing. Some had black robes with black turbans, while others wore what looked like old Nigerian army uniforms. They came shooting, ordered everyone to lie down, and then started marching people out into the surrounding bush. Let me tell you about Afiniki Moses, a woman whose story will break your heart. Just days before this attack, on January 15, Afiniki had been released by kidnappers after her family paid a ransom. She thought her nightmare was over, but that same gang came back to Kurmi Wali on Sunday, and this time they took her husband and her 2 children. Her children later managed to escape, thank God, but her husband is still among the missing. Imagine being kidnapped, paying to get free, and then having your family torn apart just days later. Another man, Idris Madami, was standing outside the Cherubim and Seraphim Movement Church when the gunmen arrived. He managed to run away, but he could not save his family. About 20 of his relatives were inside that church, including his 2 wives and 3 of his children. All of them were taken, and he has not heard from them since. Can you imagine the pain this man is feeling right now? Now here is where the story gets even more disturbing. After the attack happened and news started spreading, the Kaduna State Police initially denied that anything had occurred. On Monday, January 19, the State Police Commissioner told journalists that the story was false. He said they sent officers to the area and found no evidence of any attack. The chairman of the local government area also backed this denial. But the survivors and families of the missing insisted the attack was real. This created a very dangerous situation because while authorities were denying the attack even happened, families were desperately trying to get help. Christian Solidarity Worldwide Nigeria tried to visit Kurmi Wali to verify what happened, but when they arrived, the military blocked the road and turned them away. The government also reportedly warned villagers not to speak to the press because it would damage the government's image. Think about that for a moment. People are missing, families are suffering, and the concern was about protecting an image rather than protecting lives. If you are finding this information valuable, please take a second to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss important updates like this. Your support really helps us continue bringing you these stories. The confusion lasted for about 2 days until finally, on the evening of January 20, the Nigerian police force confirmed that the kidnapping actually did happen. But by this time, valuable hours and days had already been lost. What makes this even more heartbreaking is that Kurmi Wali is no stranger to these attacks. Just 1 week before, on January 11, 2026, 21 people from the same community were abducted, only released after families paid about 7 million naira in ransom. And even before that, on January 2nd, a Reverend Philip Adamu was kidnapped along with 3 other people. These communities are being hit again and again. When reporters visited one of the attacked churches, they found plastic chairs scattered on the floor. A Bible was left sitting on one of the chairs. Musical instruments used during worship were still there, abandoned. It painted a picture of people who were in the middle of praising God when violence interrupted their lives. The Christian Association of Nigeria confirmed that 163 people remain in captivity. This attack is part of a much larger security crisis facing Nigeria. Armed groups, including those identified as Fulani militia, bandits, Boko Haram, and groups linked to the Islamic State, have been terrorizing communities for years. Kurmi Wali is described as a forest community with bad roads, making it difficult for security forces to reach quickly. When attacks happen, by the time help arrives, the kidnappers have already disappeared into the bush. Many are calling for the government to be more transparent about the security challenges Nigeria is facing. Human rights organizations are urging authorities to acknowledge the scale of the problem, especially how Christian communities are being targeted. There are also calls for better funding for local policing and improved intelligence sharing between security agencies. For the families waiting in Kurmi Wali, they want their loved ones back. They want to know if they are safe. They want justice. As of now, no group has officially claimed responsibility for the January 18 attack, though eyewitnesses have described the attackers as Fulani militia. This is a story that should concern all of us. When people cannot go to church on a Sunday morning without fear of being kidnapped, something is fundamentally broken. When authorities initially deny that an attack happened while families are desperately searching for missing loved ones, trust is shattered. I want to hear from you in the comments. What do you think the Nigerian government should do differently to address this security crisis? How can communities protect themselves when they feel abandoned? Your thoughts matter, so please share them below. And if you found this report informative, make sure you hit that like button and share this video so more people can be aware. The people of Kurmi Wali need our prayers, yes, but they also need action. They need security presence that actually protects them. They need government officials who prioritize their safety over political image. Until these things change, stories like this will continue to happen. Stay informed, stay engaged, and let us continue to speak up for those whose voices are being silenced. Thank you for watching.